Charlie Sifford is a famous golfer who is often called the Jackie Robinson of golf. Charlie has his name because he is the one who broke the color barrier rule in golf. Charlie was not always at the top. He started off as a golf caddy and had to work his way up. It was a long fight, but Charlie kept on fighting and ended up victorious. The story of how he got here is a very interesting one. Because he did this, he allowed other African American golfers to follow in his path. It is hard to imagine a world without people like Charlie Sifford and Jackie Robinson who were able to change sports forever. Charlie was born and raised in North Carolina. Charlie grew up in a racially mixed area during the 1930s. Charlie was a caddy at his local golf course. He did not know that this would change his life forever. This was one of the few ways that an African American could be on the golf course. At first, Charlie was only caddy for pocket money, but then he saw the other golfers on the field, analyzed them, and eventually tried playing the game. At the golf course, the caddies were allowed to play when the course was closed on Monday. Charlie took full advantage of the situation and practiced as much as he could. The fact that he often had to play undetected means that he developed a powerful drive and had a habit of hurrying on the green. When he was 13, he could break par. Sadly, when he was 17, he was told he could no longer practice at the club. Sutton Alexander, who was the owner of the club. After hearing the news, Sifford made the decision to move to Philadelphia to continue to develop his golf career. His golf career had grown quite a lot since he started. In the 1940s, Sifford played in the United Golf Association Tour. Before that, in 1926, the United Golf Association developed the National Negro Open to allow black players to play golf. In the 1940s, Sifford played on the United Golf Association Tour. The event was scheduled in the 1950s. Sifford seized his opportunity and decided to join the event. Sifford went on to win the event 6 times. But that wasn't it for Charlie Sifford. His relationship with Teddy Rhodes, a fellow African-American golf player and a golf coach, led him to another job. A golf coach for American jazz musician Billy Eckstine. This allowed him to socialize with many famous African-American singers like Miles Davis and Charlie Parker. Even with all of the positive things happening to Charlie, he still had no chance of winning the larger money prizes. One thing that Sifford said was, "I always did want to be a pro, but the pro tour wasn't open to us then." Sifford's first PGA win was the Greater Hartford Open in 1967. It did not matter what his skill level was. He still faced discrimination at tournaments. Despite all the negativity, Sifford went on to win many more games. In 2004, Sifford was put in the World Golf Hall of Fame. Finally, Sifford was awarded the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2014. This is the story of how Charlie Sifford went from golf caddy to a pro PGA player. Not only was he able to break the color barrier, he was able to change it forever. After researching more about Charlie Sifford, I was interested to see how his story compared to another golf player. I decided to speak to a retired pro golfer, Jack Rovain, at the Sacramento Cordova Golf Course. In the interview, I wanted to compare the life of Jack Rovain to Charlie Sifford. Where are you from?
Sacramento.
Can you explain what you do here at the golf course?
Say it again. I teach golf of all ages. I started playing golf with my dad at the age of 2. My dad would take me to the park or to the golf course or in my backyard, my front yard. I just hit wiffle balls and golf balls wherever I could.
What is one of the obstacles you faced as a golf player?
I found out that I wasn't as good as everybody else. It was probably my 3rd year of college that I decided that I wanted to be a golf professional. There's hardly any African Americans. Now there's more and more with Lee Elder and Tiger Woods and all that stuff, but it's more the Korean and the Asian influence on the game is just skyrocketed because of it. Especially on the LPGA tour, there's more Asians than there are Americans, or even I don't even think there's any African American ladies on the tour right that I know of. But yeah, it's totally changed the game for sure. But like I said, Lee Elder was one of my idols growing up and stuff, and he got no recognition at all. And Calvin Pete was another one that was a African American that got nothing. But Tiger Woods just kind of changed the game, and I guess because he's just so rah-rah from the get-go.
Also dominating.
Yeah, he's dominating.
Everybody loves a winner, and
Yeah.
you're dominant like he did.
Yeah. So
What's the
can
first
I answer
black
your
golf?
question? College, and then they used to have a Gold Rush tournament out at Rancho Marietta every year. And Lee Elder actually came into the restaurant, and I actually made him dinner. And so he goes, "Can I meet the chef that made my dinner, primary dinner, or whatever?" And so it was me. So I went out and I said, "Oh my gosh, you're one of my favorite guys. I love your demeanor. He was my size. Hit the ball kind of like how I did." I said, "You're one of my idols." And so
When he heard that, he took a 9-iron to his ankle, and that took care of his football career.
so he was there on a blind date.
Oh.
And so I didn't know that. And so I'm 30 years later, 35 years later, I meet him in Philadelphia again and sitting down talking to him and stuff like this. And his blind date is now his wife, Cheryl.
Oh, really?
And so she goes, "I remember you. He brought you out of the kitchen, da 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 da." And I said, "Yeah." And so we spent hours talking to each other. And he goes, that was our first blind date. We were a blind date, and I've never dated a golf professional before. I didn't know, da 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 da. And he took me to Schoolhouse Inn as the date. And then the next day I watched him play golf, and da da da. And the rest is history. And so it was so much fun. It was so ironic. And I said, "You totally made my day." And they'd check in with me every once in a while. But the next day I played in the golf tournament, and he came out and followed me for a couple holes. And I was so nervous. But I played so well and so much fun. And it was just a dream come true. And that's what I told him. I said, "This is a dream come true. And you just don't forget things like that." And he goes, and I go, I can't believe you remembered me coming out." And he goes, "We loved that restaurant. We loved that. We loved that, you came out and you sat down." And I said, "Shoot, dude, I'm kidding me. I would have gotten fired next year if I had a chance."
We're going to cut your story short so you can finish up because I got a vacuum in here.